Okay. Miguel, can you hear me now? Is that better or worse? Miguel, see your comment. Let me know if you can hear me now, or is that better or worse? Okay, can people hear me now? I was trying to be fancy and use this microphone, and now I'm thinking that may have not been a good idea. Can you hear me now? Okay. Can you hear me now? Any better? Worse? No? Yep. Okay, Ashton, thank you. Is it working for other people? I'm just gonna move this aside. Okay, lovely. Again, thank you for bearing. This is my first trial run and I appreciate your feedback. Okay, so let's get back into the fun of it. I'm still seeing your comments. Thank you, thank you. So another great thing is like, say you have your master resume, right? In it, you have all your brilliant thoughts, all your brilliant experiences, and then you actually have a role in front of you. You're like, hey, I want to make it concise. Instead of spending too long on it, just say, hey, ChatGPT, condense it to 1-2 pages, whatever the criteria is, highlight this experience, and it will do it for you. It has some creativity. So one thing I also want to highlight that's important is that it's important to know that ChatGPT is made to sound correct, right? So it's very important to double check what it's actually writing to make sure it's not falsely projecting something. So that comes to any insights, any numbers that it recommends, any quotes that it has. Again, it's meant to sound correct, but doesn't mean those are actually factually right. So double check that. But let's just play with it and just show you how easy it is to do something. And there's pros and cons to it, and you might find other tools that are now coming about that make it easier. But I'll just show you just how simple it is to work with your resume. So for fun, and if you want to send me a resume, oh, this is interesting. Okay, I got a new laptop, so I'm still figuring this out. Thank you for bearing with my, but this is my resume in a horrible format because I don't have docs installed yet. But let's just say this is all this crazy content that I want to share in ChatGPT. All I would do literally is copy and paste it and say, hey, and again, don't worry about your spelling. ChatGPT, here's my resume. Okay, all of that spiel. I'm not even gonna have it generate anything, but this is me feeding it information, right? Again, you saw how easy that is. And then we can go along these things and kind of help you customize that. But that's all you have to really do is just take a moment, take your resume, whatever you want to feed into, and you can go by section and feed it there, right? And again, it will generate a response just like to whatever you put in, but I'm gonna stop it because that's not my ask right now. And you can do this with follow along with me as well. Take your resume, whatever you want to customize, put it in here really quickly, so that way a ChatGPT has the information you want to look at. So again, what this can do is we're going to look at LinkedIn, we're going to look at a sample position, and we're going to see how easy it is to customize along the way. And hopefully you can see how this helps you save time, helps you personalize it, and also makes it like give it as a professional feel as you want to, again, the extent that you want to see it. And the other thing I love, like I'm not a perfectionist and I hate like making everything sound amazing, triple checking like your long doc for any spell checks. This makes it very easy to do that for you. Again, for tailored design, you can look at some samples, but I also included, again, some resources here. So Canva has some templates you can look at for resumes if you're just starting out, or there's other sites you can look at. But I mean, there's no really pros and cons. People have very heated debates about the best look and everything. I think the core is like the content that you have in it. And if you want to make it a little bit more colorful or something stand out, I don't think it hurts. But I think there's other ways to share your experience that's going to be even more impactful. And then again, for your design, you can play around with font, make sure that everything looks important. Whatever is most meaningful, add it to the top, right? And so let's play around with the kind of the goals, like quantify your achievements, how to showcase your goals, and like kind of make things more concise. So as you can see, I have a lot on here, but let's just go ahead and look at LinkedIn and see how easy it is to customize my resume to a role that I want to apply in. Okay, you can still hear me. I'm not seeing any changes. So let's go to jobs. And we're really just, let's go to whatever I'm looking for, data analyst, let's say. Okay. So we have on here additional responsibilities, qualifications, desired input. And let's just say we want to select all the information about this job and ask ChatGPT on how to, like, suggestions to align my resume to this position. So let's just do that and see what it gives me. Desired. And we're going to go back to ChatGPT. Can you please help me? Just ways to align, and I'm not going to my resume to this role. Okay. Let's see. So some of it is going to be very specific, but it will give you general suggestions. And again, the prompts that you put in are going to influence your expectations. They'll say, okay, begin your resume with concise objective statement, desire contribute, okay, suggestions. And let's say, so this is going to be pretty general, right? But still a good start, right? And can you suggest and let's say I want to then like take this recommendation and adjust this statement that I have right here. I'm just gonna, can you adjust this? You adjust this to align to this role. To this role. Okay. So again, it can be as quick or efficient as you want it to be, and it'll probably be a section by section. But then what it does is that it just makes it, it gives you a way to see like ways to improve what you have already and customize it to something that you want to align it to, right? So this could be pretty long, and then what you can do is like, hey, can you make it shorter? Can you make your view bigger on ChatGPT? You can follow along. Yes, let's try to. Thank you for the comment. Appreciate that, Tristan. Okay, so here we go. So here, what I did is I just took a section of my resume, right? And I said like, hey, can you adjust that paragraph to this role that I just pulled from LinkedIn, right? So right over here, and it gives me a recommendation. And then again, this is just gonna take a little bit of time and kind of finesse and adjust it to your personal style. But then you can say, like, hey, can you make it shorter? Make this to one paragraph. And it will do that for you. Pretty long paragraph, right? But you can see what I'm saying when it says like you can customize it to be what you want it to be and look at your resume, right? Or you can say, hey, here are some of the experiences that I have. Let's say, and here again, thank you for bearing with my format. I'm just gonna talk about some of my experiences, and I'm gonna say, hey, how can you suggest improving on them, right? So if you have bullet points or a description around your position that you have right now, and you want to tailor and get suggestions, you can do that as well. So can you suggest how to edit my role description to make it more aligned to this role? And you can see it will input, take whatever, can you see it better, Tristan? Let me know. I can also zoom in a little more. Okay. But that's it. Again, you can make it a bullet point, and the nice thing is you can quickly copy this if you want. You can approve it, or you can dislike it, so that way you're giving feedback. Basically, you're training. All of this is about you training it, and the more information you put in, the more time, the better kind of quality output you're going to get. And it is going to take time. The pros and cons of AI is not like it knows everything you want it to be. There are definitely frustrating times where like, I just want you to say X, right? But the nice thing is that it does give you ideas. And if you want to say, hey, can you sound more professional, or can you sound like, friendly, or can you change the tone, right? You can do that, right? So you can say, can you sound more exciting? And it will kind of change a tone of voice for that. So if you have a certain feel to you that you want to capture, you can do that as well. And then the other thing I know is popular is that there's always an ask for cover letters, right? And again, it's something tedious to do. I'm in full swing, still having trouble, but it would be me following along my own resume. Great, thanks for sharing that. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom a little bit more. Let me know if that is helpful, and hopefully that helps you along. So again, that's that. But the nice thing also is you can say, hey, can you help me create a cover letter? Create a cover letter for this role. Ooh, a lot of things. Again, it doesn't have to be this long, but I just want you to see how easy that is, right? If you see it, it's gonna give you some templates and you can adjust it, but it will basically look at what you're putting in for the role, and it will suggest to you like some ways to format it. And again, you can condense it, say, okay, I want it to make it a page or two, or whatever the parameters are, but that's as simple as it is. It just takes 1 second really to feed it what you want. And probably what, at least what I had to do is I did do it line by line. So I'm not just like putting in a beautiful PDF or a doc of my full resume and it's going to spit out to me the full image of everything. I do believe there are services that are making it more like that, but for me, it was more like going line by line on my resume or a kind of paragraph that I want to highlight and customize it, right? And a lot of times AI isn't going to maybe generate an idea, so you have to say, hey, can you help me align it to this role, right? Or if we go back to some of the templates I suggested here, let me expand this. You can say, hey, can you help me create a professional summary for this experience, right? Or draft a compelling objective statement to this specific job. And again, let me expand this on this a little bit. But play around with some of these templates for your position and create cover letters, or you can have like, hey, here are some cover letters for this profession or for this profession. So that way, when you're applying, maybe there's cover letters that align to a specific kind of background or specialization area that you want to go, and then it's very easy to customize that for the role you want to have. Is that helpful? Does anybody have any questions as they're going along with this that I can answer before I move on? Okay. I hope you're all playing with your resumes and having fun with it. And again, I've definitely had points where it's frustrating. So if you're getting the same response, you can start a new chat, you can try new templates and get it to customize to kind of what you want to get out of it. But I just want to show how easy it is to do something. And here's some tips to improve your output. Like be specific on what you want to get out of it. It's like, hey, I really want to highlight this experience and not this experience, right? Or hey, can you show me some ways to so let's say you want to quantify your achievements, right? So let's go back to you. Can you add some suggestions on how to quantify my achievements for this role? And I'm going to stop this. Can you adjust this as bullet points for my business analyst this role? Okay. So again, if you want to get very specific, you can add kind of what you want to, like what area you want to focus on. You can get some recommendations on kind of how you want to quantify. You can ask for other recommendations, like here's kind of what I'm thinking. So play around with it and get to that right kind of example. Also, what I've done, and what might be helpful, is like looking at other people's resumes that you really like, right? And I'm not saying like plagiarize it by all means whatsoever, but see what other people are doing that you like, and you can feed into this, like, hey, how can you share some common tips from these top resumes, right? Or get some ideas and say, like, hey, can you help me customize this to this? Again, always make sure that you're double checking it and that the resume actually shows your experience, because ChatGPT will create things that sound correct. And the one thing that's tricky is sometimes when you're inputting a job description, it will populate those requirements into your resume versus showcasing what you have. So again, make sure there's that right balance so you're not showing something that may not actually be there. So I'm going to move on just to a couple other things that I think are helpful. So talk about proofreading your resume, highlighting relevant experience. Again, this will help you check your grammatical errors. So if you have finished your resume and did some customization, you can go back in and say, hey, are there, point out where I have spelling errors, which is just like putting in and asking for spelling errors, ask for it to point it out. That way it's not just sharing with you the whole content over again. It will just highlight where those areas are. It makes it a little bit faster to read. And then again, you can say, hey, am I overusing any kind of words? So if you want to analyze your writing style, it can do that for you as well and offer you suggestions for improvement. There's additional resources that I looked at. I haven't played around with all of them, but they are more meant to really help you work around your resume versus ChatGPT just having general capabilities I shared here. So there's Jasper AI, Resi AI, and JobScan if you want to check out for those. Also, I'm just looking for ways to kind of learn and share content. So I'm going to be sharing trainings about networking and using cool tools. And so if you're interested, please connect with me. and check out more content on LinkedIn and other streams. And if you like this deck, I'm actually going to be doing a training on it. It's also AI generated. It's by a program called Gamma that recently launched. And it's also an AI way to create really cool content very easily. But before I leave you, I also want to mention a couple of plugins that I think are helpful. So one thing is that you might be creating a lot of prompts that are overused over and over again, and you want to just create a structure for it. So it's like, hey, um, you know, show me my favorite pictures of insert something and XYZ, or help me find the latest jobs and insert blank. So if you want to create prompts that you can reuse, you can create this ChatGPT prompt genius for your use, or maybe you're doing work that has repetitive kind of prompts, so you can use this as well. And the other resource that I just found that I just want to share is this Ambition site. And a lot of these also have plugins for your browser and for your phone. So ChatGPT can also be used on your phone or iPad, so feel free to find those apps. But Ambition is something I just found out, and it's a way to find jobs, like search jobs with AI power, right? That's the whole theme. And we'll open it here in a moment, and I'll share this, and I'll welcome any final questions before I let you go. Okay, let's see. Okay, interesting. Okay, here we go. So Remote Ambition is an interesting job, and I was just playing around with this morning. But I think if you are on LinkedIn or using Indeed or a lot of different sites for jobs, this could be an interesting kind of all-in-one powerhouse for that. Just something I want to share as a plug because I'm always looking to kind of learn and explore. So here on the Copilot site, I was sharing like, hey, what is a job that I'm looking for? So I'm just going to reshare that so you can see. Looking for remote jobs in, let's say, digital. Okay, digital marketing, or whatever it is for you. And then for me, I also put like a salary parameter if you want, because I know that sometimes is important. And it gave me a bunch of results, which we'll see will happen here in a moment. I just want to give you an option if you want to try something different that's going to customize your results. I think this could be interesting. And once it opens, should I see? What happens here? And while this loads, let me know if you have any questions so I can be respectful of your time. Okay. Will you be sharing this deck? Yes, the deck is right in here. So if you go to Right Off Track and Training, there's a deck is right in here for you to use. Again, I highly encourage you to check out Gamma app. It creates this deck in a matter of like minutes. And if you ever had a painful experience creating a deck, you will find that really rewarding. Okay, let's try this again. This is a little bit slow, and I'm not sure why. Okay. And if we don't get to it, if it doesn't load in a moment, I will let you go and let you play around with it. But what was interesting about it is that you can align this with your ChatGPT, put in your resume, and it gives you updates on positions that are relevant to you, right? So I would definitely, oh, here we go. So say we have a position here for digital marketing, whatever. It looks at your resume. So say I tried a position. What I did when I first looked at it is like I tried to look at position, and then it asked me to put in my resume. And once I did that, so I copied and pasted like I did in ChatGPT, it showed me my specialization areas, right? It kind of identified, oh, you have data science experience and project management experience and recruiter experience. And so that was really cool. I didn't have to do anything and kind of found some themes in my resume and showed me suggestions for those jobs. And then I haven't played as much around with it, but you'll see there's ways to kind of, again, get to those sites really quickly and kind of have a summary of all the positions you want in one. And I know they're working on other tools like kind of giving you more alerts and kind of helping you customize the resume you apply with for these different positions. So just suggesting this as a tool to check out. Thank you for sharing the deck. That's great. And that's all I wanted to share. I hope this was helpful. My real vision is like to show how easy some of this stuff can be. There is some work involved with it. It's not all knowing. It definitely takes some work to get things started and to kind of make it and fine tune it to what exactly you want to be. But I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you also for your feedback about the sound and everything. And again, looking ahead, I want to share tips about networking and how to stand out. I think that right now the job market is really hard. And what I feel passionate about is how to use your resources in terms of connections, how to ask for referrals, share my experience from like the recruiting realm, how to stand out, and topics around that. And we can also discuss how to use ChatGPT on some of those efforts as well. So if you're interested, please join. I'll be sharing more training topics in well, on here obviously, but also on my site. And then I'll be doing more kind of sharing of different AI tools and different tools that can also be helping you with your productivity and your job search. So thanks so much for joining. I really appreciate it. I'll be here for a couple more minutes if you have any questions. But other than that, that's all I wanted to share with you today. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Tristan, for sharing the deck. I appreciate it. Okay. Okay. And if you have any questions later, let me know. I'm gonna hope to share this stream with you here on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on YouTube, so you have that for future content. And I hope this was helpful. Thank you. Bye. Bye, everyone.